what's up? It's your boy 360 Jeezy, and today in this video, I'm gonna be teaching you guys how to do the flawless connection method. Let's go. Now, I know some of you guys clicked on this video and you guys were like, man, I can't wait. Oh man, y'all getting juice and stuff and getting y'all hopes up high. But let me throw a little disclaimer out there for y'all real quick. Listen, if you clicked on this video and you got 10 or more forks, exit out of this video, okay? Because this method is not for you. If you got a low cut, and you keep going to the barber shop and getting that 1.5 every single week, this method is not for you. If you hate woofing, which we all hate woofing, but if you hate woofing to the point to where you don't, this method is not for you. If you got 180 waves, which means you only got waves at the top, get your butt on out of here. This method is not for you. If you a sometimey waver, which means you only wave sometimes, which means you only put on your do-rag sometimes, which means you only wear your do-rag at night to bed sometimes, and you only brush sometimes, this method is not for you. If you an OG,
watch your mouth, young blood. For the next thing you say might be your last.
And you be like,
hey, you using grease. Back in the days, we don't use grease. We use natural water. We just use Fiji water. You won't use nothing else, bro. Y'all cheating out here with your breath.
This method is not for you. So before we get into the flawless connection method, it's a couple things you guys need to know. First thing you need to know is what a fork really is. So let's say this is a wave right here, all right? It's going straight, it's in a straight line. Then you have two more waves coming and they crash like this, right? One wave is going on top, the next wave is going on bottom, but right here, there's a split. There's a split like this, and this wave has no connection to hang on. You could either break it by connecting to this one, but then this one has to connect to something. But a fork is a crash in your waves that split. And there's many types of forks. That's just one of the forks that mainly everyone has. When you get down to that 3 to 4 fork ratio, everybody has that split that goes in a V like this. We call this basically the Y fork. And that leads me into the next thing you need to know is you gotta have 4 forks or less, all right? You don't wanna be shifting and doing anything weird or out of the ordinary if you got a bunch of forks in your hair, okay? You wanna stay consistent, keep brushing the same way until you get down to maybe 4 to 3, 5 at the max. I don't recommend 5 because that, to me, that's a lot of forks to have. You want to stay consistent with, you know, knocking out the forks. Keep going on your woof journeys. Comb as much as possible to knock out them forks to get down to 4. Because when you get down to 2 forks, chances are you're not gonna have a bunch of forks in one area. It may be 2 in this area, or 1 over here on your right side, or left side, or the back, or in your crown area. You won't have just, you know, a bunch of forks just all in one area. And you'll see why as I explain the flawless connection method. So now that we got that out the way, let me take this do-rag off and explain how to do the flawless connection method.
Where you get your beats? HustleDreamProduction.
Alright you guys, so let me show you the areas where I want to fix. I have a fork in the front right here that this has been bothering me this whole time, man. It's been up here and it's slowly traveling its way down here. Now on my left side, I have these two forks right here that I'm trying to get out, slowly but surely getting there. And with the flawless connection method, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I'm combing and brushing this area to where, you know, it makes sense as far as, you know, knocking them out or getting them to move or pushed out of the hairline. Alright you guys, so you're gonna need a comb, preferably a tool instructor comb, something that really grabs and pulls the hair, a hard brush and a soft brush. Now with the soft brush, that's just laying your hair down, finishing it up before you rag up. So as far as getting out this wave right here, when I look at my waves, I'm looking at the direction my waves are going in and where I want them to go. I want my waves to wrap around like this. I want the line to be vertical like this on my right side, but when you get up to here, you get a big crash. Now with this fork right here, you basically want to push it out to the hairline. All right, there's nothing that this is going to connect to. You have, like I said, that wave that comes right there, it separates to two waves. So with this one, you're just going to push it out of the hairline. Now the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to comb it slightly over this way, all right, to confuse it. Basically what you're doing is confusing your waves. That way when you go on your woof journeys and, you know, you keep brushing and you keep working on it and you grow the hair out and you cut it down, you know what I mean, the waves will move. You have to understand that waves move as well. So when you're combing in this direction, it's gonna take time. This is not gonna happen overnight. This is basically shifting. This is shifting your waves to where, you know, it'll best line up. So if my waves are going across like this, it's safe to say that this is the direction that you want it to go in. But if your wave, if your fork, let me brush this down real quick. If your fork starts to bend right here, all right, it's going in a slanted way that you don't want it to go in. So the best way to do that is to comb it in a direction that will, it will shift and deter it to go more straight in this way. Let's just take the sideways for example. It's safe to say that I brush like this, straight down. Now, if I wanted my waves to go straight down like this, I would brush more straight ahead if I wanted my waves to come straight down. But I don't want to do that right here. I do want to do that at this fork though. Brushing it at a slight slant. That way it repositions itself and it's eventually gonna either move this fork out or line it up to where it goes in that direction, which is more straight. So when it comes to my left side, I have these two forks right here in this area. And what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna shift and start repositioning these waves to do something else, all right? I'm actually gonna be combing it downward. More so than in this direction, because in this direction, it's just gonna, you know, it's not gonna move the hair. You know what I'm saying? Going in this direction, it's gonna take longer for me to knock out them forks. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna confuse the waves. I'm gonna shift it by bringing it down a little bit. That way, when I go on my woof journeys and I grow my hair out, when I cut it, I'm gonna cut it in that same direction. Therefore, shifting and confusing your waves for them to line up or even move, you know what I mean? Waves do move. The same fork that was right here was way back here in my crown area. So eventually it's gonna move, but it gets to a place when you brush so much, the wave just stays there and it seems like it's not moving at all. What you want to do is change your angles. You got to know when to change your angles, okay? So when it feels like your waves is just stuck in that same area, you have to confuse it. You have to brush differently at a slight slant. That way it'll cause your wave to move in a different direction. So I hope that brought some clarity to what the flawless connection method is. It's basically just shifting your waves to where it's not gonna stay in the same area, it's gonna move, all right? You're forcing your forks to move in a different direction. So I'm just gonna grab my hard brush in the same direction, get a brush session in. If you ain't got your brush right now, what are you doing? Pick up your brush and brush with me. Let's go. Alright, you guys, that's basically the flawless connection method. To basically sum it up, what you want to do is you want to comb in the direction that best flows with your waves. You want to hard brush, then soft brush, rag up. Now you got to be consistent. You can't just go back to your old brushing habits, all right? You have to develop a new brushing habit and do this method until those forks are gone, all right? You want to woof in this direction. It's best when you're on that woofing journey. When you do this method, you don't want to do it on a low cut. You know, it kind of defeats the purpose because you cut low. The hair can't pull with the comb, so it's kind of defeating the purpose if you got a fresh cut. Just make sure you go on that woof journey and then start there. Like I said, you have to cut in that direction, comb in that direction, soft brush, hard brush, all of that in that direction for those forks to move, all right? The main goal is to get either the fork to connect to another fork or the fork to push out and move out of your hairline. That way, you know, the barber can just cut it out, or either, you know, it could just eventually leave as the waves continue to move. I'm gonna be giving you guys my updates on the forks that I have. I am currently doing it, and you know, I have seen improvement, especially with this fork on top, all right? So stay tuned for more updates. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, man. More videos to come. It's your boy 360 Jeezy. I'm out. Peace.